Fernando Mendoza
Yeah, that's
made his debut last night, lost, and took it kind of hard. Here's Clint Kubiak and the #1 overall pick.
I saw the same guy that we've seen in practice. I see, an ascending player. We just got to keep getting better.
Unfortunately, I let my teammates down today, but it's a growing experience, and I feel like we're all growing, and it showed me that I need to grow a lot.
Okay. What did Mendoza prove, Danny?
He reaffirmed and confirmed what I felt before the preseason, which is Fernando Mendoza should start week 1 for the Raiders.
wow.
He should start week 1 for the Raiders.
Thank you. I love this take.
And
Love it.
I bet you I can move you closer to me by the end of
Let's
this.
go.
Okay?
Let's hear it.
All right. First of all, recent history is on my side.
What do you mean?
#1 picks when they start for their team.
But has it been good?
Well, some of them have, some of them haven't.
Well, then I don't know if the history's on your side.
your
Like,
side?
hey, look at all these mistakes guys have made.
Hold on a second.
Ward, not on your side.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did it set any of them back?
It certainly
Maybe.
didn't help Cam or Bryce. Certainly didn't help. Joe Burrow got his knee blown out.
Wait a second.
The
Nick.
Prince, they got the #1 pick the
started
following
well,
year
but-
as well.
Okay, but that's
Caleb's coach got fired.
To be honest with you.
He was, no. He was,
How
he was
many
gonna get fired
coaches
anyway.
has Trevor had?
But there's obvious differences here. It's 3 reasons. 1, most of the time they start. But 2,
Yeah.
he also, this is not 36 starts. It's not Kyler Murray with 500 pass attempts. Over 1,000 passes in college. Over 36 starts, right in line with Goff and Baker and Caleb and all those guys. Plenty of experience. And you mentioned coaches getting fired. Kubiak's already there.
Yeah.
So, when Caleb played for Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron, then he gets Ben Johnson. He has to unlearn that stuff. Same thing with Cam Ward. 2 coaches, first 2 years.
Yeah.
Clint Kubiak gets to just start working with him right now, so it'll be the same system in year 1 and year 2. And then the thing that you guys are underrating, Kirk Cousins is bad. It is very on the table that Fernando Mendoza is better
He
than
won his
Kirk.
last 4 games last year.
Oh, but I mean, all right.
For a team that was in the playoff hunt.
We can look at Kirk Cousins over the last 2 years since he came back from the Achilles injury.
He was definitely bad his first year
Right.
back from the Achilles.
But he came on late last year.
He was not good last year.
Late last year, he got them in that playoff hunt.
He had a couple of games in terms of where they won the game, but he has not been good individually. And so I watched Fernando Mendoza last night. You guys showed the touchdown throw. I also thought I thought the best throw of the night was a throw, his own 20-yard line, this 18, 19-yarder up the seam. Guy's ready to play, man. He's ready to play. He's got his coach. It's not like it's a terrible offensive line. He's got a running back. He's got a tight end. They spent some money. He's got his center to help him with the protections.
What is the harm in having him sit? When you have a veteran quarterback, he can learn.
But what's the benefit?
See, that's why I would say
what's the
history. I would say history is on. It didn't hurt. It helped. I don't know. Mahomes probably would have been great anyway, but still, that's an example of
Different
it working.
situation.
I know Aaron Rodgers was decades ago, but that worked.
Very different
And now
situation.
Jordan Love. It doesn't hurt to sit at the feet of a veteran and learn.
And I support Danny just because we have to go so far back to be like Jordan Love.
Well,
CJ started and was in the playoffs.
But look at him now.
You
I'm
wanna
just
say
saying,
that's back
last
to-
2 seasons.
You think that CJ Stroud has been adversely affected because he started his rookie year?
No. But I
threw
can
23 touchdowns?
Not #1 pick. How about Darnold going to a bad situation? This isn't as bad a situation, but a lot of times if a young quarterback's thrown in the fire, you don't, in a bad team, you don't get a good read on him. They're in the toughest division in the conference.
Well, but all the more reason to start him early because if we could pick one game on the schedule, let's throw up the Raiders' schedule. Before the order was set, say, what's the one game you would want him to start with? You'd say Miami at home. It's the easiest game on the schedule. Get him a win in week 1.
Yeah, and then he goes up against your juggernaut Chargers, and then
got
on
the
the
Chiefs.
road.
Patriots and Bills.
Listen.
And Rams.
I do not think it was. I am skeptical on whether or not Bryce Young was ever going to have the physical traits to be a high-quality NFL starting quarterback. But I think what they did with him in year one was a mistake that hurt him. I am not certain that it was good for Caleb Williams at all.
But again, they changed coaches.
I understand, Danny.
They're not going to be changing coaches for Mendoza.
Okay, well, first, that's very optimistic that Clint Kubiak's just going to be there for a long time. They didn't think they were going to change coaches. With Trevor Lawrence, they brought in Urban Meyer. Right, do I have that right?
Yeah,
Urban Meyer. He lasted less than a year, and he's out of there. So I don't know what is the downside. Don't we think if you're right and he's ready now, do you think he's going to be less ready in 2 months, having been to more practices, been to more meetings?
I think generally speaking, the most advantageous thing in the NFL is a great quarterback on a rookie contract. So starting the clock on evaluating the quarterback on the rookie contract as soon as possible, as long as you think he is ready. But I honestly think that guy can be as good as Kirk Cousins is right now. Not as smart or anything like that, but in terms of like actual points on the board, I'm not positive that you are sacrificing the ability to beat the Dolphins
I'm
week
not
one
at all
by playing
talking about
Mendoza
that, though.
or Cousins.
I am not. Even if I were to concede that, I'm not. Maybe I'm a touch higher on Kirk than you, and maybe not quite as high on Mendoza. But even if it were empirically true that Mendoza and Cousins give the Raiders the exact same percentage chance to win any game the first month of the season, I still think there's an argument to not play Mendoza, because I think there is an argument to be made. The most important thing for the Raiders this year is not whether they're 6-11 or 8-9.
Agreed.
It's the development of Mendoza, and I think you can make an argument the best thing for his development is not to play week one.
But I just think it's tough to say that would be the best thing. Like, if Mendoza's not ready, if he's not ready, and Cousins got hurt, I wouldn't play Mendoza. Do not play Mendoza until he is ready to play. Right? Like it should be on Mendoza's timeline.
I got you.
But I think he looks ready to play. He had over 1,000 pass attempts, 36 starts in college, a national championship, pro-style offense. He's got his center. He's got his left tackle. He's got weapons. Why is he not ready?
There was a part in his press conference where I don't know the question, but he was talking about you have a lot more autonomy. Did you see this part?
Yeah.
I have a lot more autonomy as a professional player. Like today, I drove myself to the stadium. I was like, holy cow, we are.
He was surprised.
But I think from the outside, we talk about it like, interns that work for the show. It's like, here's something, getting yourself from your house to the office on time. And navigating the train, that's actually part of work. It sounds basic if you're like a veteran, I can get to work. But you haven't done that. If you're like, well, shoot, my class is usually right there. It's a whole new thing. So with him actually talking about, I drove myself to the game, I was like, holy cow, we're kind of far away from Kirk Cousins, who has binders full of intel.
If they say he's not ready, I mean, look, that Mike Silver profile, I don't know if you guys read it. It was kind of adorable. He was like, what the shuck? He was wasn't even willing to curse. And he's like, I'm afraid to go to the strip of Las Vegas. I'm like, you can go for dinner. You know what I mean? So he definitely is a kid in that sense. But as a football player, man, I think he's ready. And I don't believe that Kirk Cousins is some huge. This is not Alex Smith with 3 straight double-digit win seasons and a playoff team, or Aaron Rodgers for Jordan Love. That's not what we're talking about.
I do think if he clearly plays better than Cousins in practice, I think if it's even, they're going to go with Cousins. But if he's really showing he's ready, I think they'll play him. So
I think they'll play him.
I think that they're gonna. I think we're gonna learn who look better.
I think there is a lot of quarterbacks who we consider that they underachieved or were outright busts or had to go to different teams, that if their rookie year they were not instantly thrown into the fire, would have had better careers. I agree with you, the importance of the rookie timeline and the rookie pay scale, but this year, we agree, no matter what, they're not competing for a championship.
Yeah, of course.
So the ability to take advantage of his rookie contract is about the years after this. What we are really disagreeing on is there an argument to be made he will be better in year 2 by not playing some of this year than by playing the whole thing? And I think there might be.
And if they had last year's coach, then I would be in agreement with you.
Yeah, but if you think the coach is pre-fired, then I get it. But we don't know if Clinton Kubiak's going to be.
But you would agree they're at least on the same timeline.
Yeah, they are on the same.
They're on the same timeline.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good job. He move you at all? He said he
No,
wasn't
not at
gonna-
all.
No, not-
I actually, you know what? I actually think maybe now he doesn't start week 1 next year either.
Hey, 17 games. What's wrong? Hey,
Steve McNair. Steve McNair said 2 years. That work out for him?
Jordan Love.
Yeah.
There you go.
Joe Burrow got sacked, didn't score a touchdown or a field
That
goal.
Joe Burrow wishes he got to sit his rookie year. He got his knee blown out.
Here's Zach Taylor after the game.
It's never fun. I mean, that's not what we want to have happen. But again, we'll continue to improve. We'll make the individual corrections we got to make. We'll make the unit corrections we got to make, and then move on in the preseason.
Just week 1, Danny. Was that a bad sign or just a bad game? Bad things?
Bad day at the office. I wouldn't play Joe Burrow in the preseason. Like, call me crazy, but a guy who's had serious injury problems and they're not changing the offensive system and is one of.
They are trying to go a little more under center and do that stuff.
Sure, you can do that in live practices. Like, I don't know that you need to see that in a game personally. Like, I would not. I am.
Well, you know why they're doing it. Remember, when they always start the season slow, and then last year they did it and started okay.
I understand all of that. I am very, very conservative when it comes to me, the biggest thing is health and being ready for the start of the season, and in terms of readiness of like having my players out there, and I'll take a little bit of rust in week 1 if that's the trade-off for it. But I mean, the guy went 5 of 6. Like, we're gonna panic over 6 passes. I personally don't think that a team with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown, with an offensive line that I don't think is top 10 clearly, but I don't think it's bottom 5 either. I think it's going to be average.
But 20th is a problem.
And I think probably maybe around 20th is where it'll be. Then just their offense is going to be good. It's enough talent that I'm not going to overreact to 6 passes and a couple of hits in the preseason.
Well, I mean, okay, then maybe you'll think this is overreacting. I'm not going to not react, though. I think that it is your starters against a team who I think most people would say, hey, what's the biggest concern about the Lions going into this year? Probably pass defense. Probably with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph out and Tyrion Arnold, bouncing between Seattle and arraignment, and they're still waiting for Aiden Hutchinson's other, pass rushing partner to show up. It's that team's backups, and Joe Burrow's on the ground twice, despite just the 6 throws. That's to me not nothing. I think that there also is something to be said for the correlation between Burrow's injuries, Burrow's sack rate, and the type of sack he took in this game, which is hanging in the pocket, hunting the big play. One of the reasons he has some of those gaudy numbers we've talked about is because he puts him, he hangs in there and looks for the big play rather than just abandoning it, either throwing it away. He's not really going to scramble much. And I think all of that is a little ominous, and the fact that Orlando Brown got dusted there is a little ominous when he's a question mark for them this year. So I think it's not nothing to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to overreact either, Danny, but it is something that is, as we're looking at our predictions,
of course.
you have to know it's noted.
Yeah.
That's right, noted.
If
that
he'd have gone out there and been,
protect him,
Yeah.
knowing how fragile he is, and we got to protect Joe, and they couldn't do it against a bunch of second teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
You debuted the Joe Burrow is fragile tag.
No, he's
Is
had
he
that
not?
for a while.
I just haven't heard Bruce say he's fragile.
Oh.
I mean, he's a tough guy.
Yeah, but he's dealt with a lot of various injuries. Yeah.
Headed to Baltimore.
The guy who plays as much as Joe Burrow, Lamar. Is he fragile? No,
Lamar promised
He
a
gets
Super Bowl
cold.
for the Ravens on draft night. Here he is talking about the urgency to get a Lombardi this year.
It's always been that way for me. We need to do this now. Even when I was a rookie, a second-year player, But yeah, obviously, going into year 9, it's like, man, time is ticking. You're only getting older. I'm not getting younger. And I'm seeing a lot of different new faces into the league and different guys we surrounded with, from the offensive line, receiver standpoint, running back, backfield, new running back, stuff like that. Time is ticking, and the urgency is always a high level. Even I feel once I get one, it's still going to be urgent to get another, Never goes away.
How open is Lamar's Super Bowl window?
I don't think it's nearly as open as Vegas and the rest of the world thinks. Like right now, yes, no, Lamar Jackson ever wins a Super Bowl, even money bet on either side. My money would be on no.
Wow.
Now again,
My money would be on no also.
Okay, so and I want to make this very clear. That is not me saying Lamar will never.
Right, of course.
Right, but I just think it is more likely than not that he ends up on the outside looking in for a long list of reasons about age, potentially, diminishing returns in the running game, raising concerns with injury, and then we get to the fact that I have major questions about what the cauldron of the postseason does to Lamar Jackson from a nerve standpoint. So all of that, I think, is working against him. And so what I would say is this, Brew, I think it is if he doesn't, let's say in my head, he's 40% to ever win a Super Bowl, which would, again, be less than, the yes or no.
Right.
If they don't do it this year, I think every year it gets halved. I think, this is his best chance. And then if he doesn't do it this year, next year it'd be down to 20. And then the year, just because you have less time, you're less in your prime, and more evidence that he hasn't been able to get it done.
First of all, that quote from him, I hadn't seen it before. I love hearing him say that. Time is ticking. He knows.
Yeah.
Just what I'm sure he's not as skeptical as you, but he knows, look, time is ticking.
It's very S-Bob.
Yeah.
Very S-Bob aware.
I got to get this done. And to quote, or I think I don't know if it would be an exact quote, to the great Joe Burrow, his Super Bowl window is his prime. Yeah. As long as he's in his prime, and to be honest, look, the guy, now I know he had gotten to some Super Bowls, but John Elway played 16 years, didn't win it his first 14 years. And then when they won it, he had a great running back, Terrell Davis, and they won it his last 2 years. So I think as long as Lamar's great, and maybe even a little after, because there's a great organization, I think a good head coach, but if he's not a good head coach, mentor, they'll get a good head coach, So I think that he's in an organization, I like the Bengals, where they're going to, put the things around him to try to get it done. Give him his best opportunity.
Yeah.
And I do think he obviously hasn't been great in the playoffs, but I think he is growing to the point where he will be able to play well in the postseason.
Yeah, Nick, we disagreed on the Mendoza and Burrow one, but we thought about this pretty similarly. Lamar strikes me, Elway's an interesting comp, Brew. It's hard for me to envision a 35-year-old Lamar Jackson winning a Super Bowl. Because so much of what makes him dynamic is he the fastest quarterback in the NFL, the threat of the running game and what that does to open up the passing game. He's gotten way better as a passer, but it still is helped and aided by his immense athleticism. So as that diminishes, I look at his Super Bowl window as being, it's not the next 12 years. I don't think he can play until he's 40 and win Super Bowls in his late 30s like Stafford and Brady and guys like that. So I look at it as more of the next 5 years type of thing. And it's just really hard to pick that guy's going to win one of them. So yeah, it's less than a 50-50 proposition.
Especially when Herbert, Caleb, and Josh Allen are going to win all of the next 5.
Well, yeah, that's the unspoken.
Yeah, that's the other part is when Herbert gets 2 and Caleb gets 2, in the next 5 years, there's only one available. Yeah. And so, I'm
glad Mahomes already got this.
Yeah, thank you.
When you think about it that way.
Coming up next, there's Jeremiyah
Enjoy
Love.
vacation, friend.
Thanks for holding
Sealing in year 1. Next on First Things First Overtime.
Jeremiyah Love sealing safe.
Hanging out with Coach Mangini on the OT. Let's go to the desert where the Cardinals and rookie running back Jeremiyah Love showed out last night. The 3rd overall pick out of Notre Dame. He had a busy first half. 11 carries for 58 yards, another 3 catches for 14 yards. gotta be honest, 14 touches in a half of preseason football. Not exactly how I would have handled it. He is the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year, according to Logic and the odds makers, about 4.5 to 1. Let's talk ceiling here, Coach. What is Jeremiyah Love's as a rookie?
This is a difficult question because one of the concerns that I had about him being drafted as high as he was is he split time at Notre Dame. So he had 12 games, he had 199 carries, and you didn't see him with the full load. And now, come out in the preseason, he gets that volume of carries.
14 touches in a half of preseason football for the 3rd overall pick is borderline reckless.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work for the first game out. And when you talk about Saquon's first year, he had 250 carries that season. And then I think Ashton Jeanty was at 266.
Yep.
It looks like they're going to try to get to those numbers. So it's numbers that he hasn't been at. And he had 12 games last year. Now we're talking about 17 games, plus obviously a full workload in the preseason. So let's add 20 games to that.
Well, he should be shut down for the rest of preseason, right? I would shut him down. He looks good. He got out of it healthy. Shut him down.
I'm not sure where they're going to go with this because, like you, I didn't expect there to be this volume of carries in the preseason, and that's what could be the biggest limiting factor is wear and tear on him. In terms of last night, there were a lot of encouraging plays. I'd say this is probably the most encouraging where he's able to spin out of the tackle. The guy's coming in to make a leg tackle. He spins out of it. There are a few other ones that were similar to that. I thought he did a really good job of getting the edge, which means start inside. The inside's clogged and you're able to bounce to the perimeter.
Yep.
Thought that was encouraging well. Glad he caught the ball well. So I'm much higher on him than I was on Jeanty last year. Will he hit Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley type numbers? I'm not. I don't have a conviction there, and I also have the concern about how are they going to use him.
So you said a lot there. My first thought was honestly like a fantasy football side of it. I was like, ooh, maybe I should draft Jeremiyah Love, because that's a lot of volume. Second thing, we're kind of aligned. Like 266 carries for Jeanty, but less than 1,000 yards. So I've been thinking today, once I knew we were doing this topic, of like, how good can a running back be who gets a ton of volume who's on a bad team? Like, there's not a ton of great examples. Like Tony Pollard had 240 plus carries last year, but they were so bad. He was good, but not that productive. Like Jeanty, can he be top 5 in the NFL in touches? Like, can he be 250 plus touches and 1,200 plus rushing yards?
So to your point, I remember I think it was 1997 with the Jets. We were playing for a chance to go to the playoffs against the Lions and Barry Sanders, and we worked all weekend trying to contain him. We had a great plan, and late in the fourth quarter, he hits like a 40-yarder. And Curtis Martin's saying was, good backs are like water. They always find the crack. So as much as we say, how good can a back be on a bad team? Backs make bad teams and bad lines look way better than they are. And Barry Sanders always gave credit to his offensive line, but it was him that made it look good. So with Jeanty, we could say, hey, bad team, that's why he had the numbers he had. But 3.7 yards a carry on that volume of touches, that's a big concern for them.
I get it. And I didn't talk myself into the Cardinals as like a team in terms of winning games. It was like, all right, so Jacoby throws it down the field. Marvin Harrison's in number 1. McBride is arguably the best tight end in football. They love their left tackle in Paris Johnson. Like, the left guard's pretty good. It's like all of a sudden it's like, okay, some runs to the left, Jeremiyah Love, some play action at the tight end. I do think he can have a very, very big year. He won't be Christian McCaffrey, right? Like, Christian McCaffrey last year was over 400 touches when you add in carries and receptions. But I do think he can be a 250-plus touch guy this year, which should lead, based on what I saw last night, to a lot of productivity.
What's interesting about Christian McCaffrey is his first year, he had a small volume of touches compared to other guys drafted that high. I think he was at a small amount of carries. I think he was about at 120.
Yeah.
But
I was saying McCaffrey, I was just doing like total touches, like rookies or otherwise last year. there are not that many guys. It's so many backfields in the NFL are 2-3-headed monsters. Tyler Algier is on Arizona. That's a guy who's had 160 to 200 carries every year he's been in the NFL. So I don't know how much that cuts into what Jeremiyah Love is going to do. Algier got a little love with the starters last night. But I watched that guy and saw that amount of volume in the preseason. And again, I keep coming back to that 250 number. But I bet you he hits 250 plus touches.
But that may be something that's terrible for his production as opposed to good for his production. When you're not used to handling that volume, when you played 12 games and not 17 games, and now you're asked to go do that in the NFL, which is that creates its own set of problems. And if your passing game isn't the type of passing game that can create holes by forcing them to play 7 in the box instead of 8 in the box, and everybody's trying to stop you, it could be challenging. And look, for a rookie head coach, if you wear this guy down early in the season, it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for him, and it's not going to be good for longevity.
Wouldn't be good for fantasy owners either. Let's go to Chicago, which is always a good phrase and a good idea. Well, Ben Johnson earlier in the week had high expectations for the Bears offense. Friend of the show, Jalen Johnson, told us that he is bringing that energy to camp. So here's the Bears head coach on how the preparation is going for his offense. Take a listen.
He came out of the gate hot there. Those first 4 practices I thought were really, really good. And then as the volume has continued to go up, and it's my fault as much as anything, just because I think I've put in more this year on offense than I did a year ago by design. I want it to feel like a lot right now, that there's been a level of plateau up to this point. Now that things will slow down from an installation point, I think we're going to see him continue to go on the upswing.
All right, so here is the broad strokes production numbers for Caleb and the Bears offense. Year 1 in 2024, year 2, 2025. Obviously, that is when Ben Johnson comes in. Realistic expectations. You've thrown some cold water on Caleb over the last week or two. I want some specifics here from you. Expectations for Caleb.
Well, I agree with what Ben Johnson did in terms of insulation. So you do try to, especially in a guy's second year, you try to put in everything early, and it's like throwing mud up against the wall. You just see what sticks, and then, once you get that, you keep sort of polishing it up, and you eventually get to what the best core part is, and that's what they're doing, and so that's all positive, and sounds like he's in a much better position to handle that. So in terms of versatility of the ways that they attack people, there's a real opportunity here, and we should see growth there. What I totally disagree with is when Caleb came in, it was expectations. Hey, don't worry about it. We're not going to punt. He texts the punter. So there's all that stuff. Then he gets dramatically humbled his rookie season, comes back this next year, and it's different. So now he has success. He's not really. He seems still relatively humble. I mean, there's elements of the old Caleb creeping back in, but now the head coach says.
I don't want him to be humble, but we can disagree on that.
But the head coach says, we're going to be the greatest offense that's ever played. We're going to score the most points that's ever played. We're going to have blowouts. We're going to have shutouts. So now he's upping the expectations and the pressure on Caleb, and I don't think that's necessarily a positive way to go, and it could hurt him.
He said that's the goal. And I know that is not your style. That's why there's chocolate and vanilla, because it is my style. Talk a little bit, manifest it, speak it into existence. So if we could throw those numbers back up, please, year 1 to year 2. Caleb, there was, I'm not a math expert per se, but in year 1, coach, he had 20 total touchdowns. And in year 2, he had 30 total touchdowns. So I'm thinking a nice round number of 40 touchdowns. There's only one player in the NFL who had over 40 touchdowns last year, and he won MVP. His name was Matt Stafford. Josh Allen had 39 touchdowns, 14 on the ground, 25 through the air. Trevor Lawrence had 38 touchdowns. He had 9 rushing touchdowns to go with 29 passing touchdowns.
When did Trevor have that?
Why did he have that?
No, when did he have that?
He was in, year 5?
Year 5?
Year 5. Yeah, but I'm thinking for Caleb in year 3, year 2 with Ben Johnson, a nice round 40 touchdowns for Caleb Williams this year, as they are a top 5 offense in the NFL. Maybe number 1, but we'll be conservative and say top 5.
Yeah, I don't have the Trevor Lawrence graphic handy, but year 1 wasn't very good. Year 2 was real. Everybody was excited. Coaching change. Year 3, the expectation was, well, this is a rocket ship, right? Number 1 overall draft pick, had a down season because of the coach's fault, had a really good season the second year. He was going to take off. That's not how it went. Now we're cycling back. He had a good season this year after a coaching change. So the idea that you get to start where you left off, that's not how it works. Hopefully there'll be progress, but you're putting pressure on him now to chase points. You're putting pressure on him, Coach, to do things. Why don't we hit some layups? Why don't we improve our completion percentage? Why don't we do the mundane things so much better and give the whole team a chance to win, as opposed to say, hey, yeah, we have to go be the greatest offense in the history of the world.
So, me saying it is nothing. I'm just a Bears fan on TV. Ben Johnson saying it's not nothing. I understand that bulletin board material and that'll get around and it'll rub some people the wrong way. I mean, the guy's on the cover of Madden. He was the number 1 pick. He's the Heisman Trophy winner.
How are those Madden cover guys done historically?
There's the allure of the curse. I mean, but
that's been pretty.
I don't know that is causation. I think that might be a little bit more.
I don't know. I don't know if we can throw out, hey, we're going to manifest it in the universe.
Was there
yet
pressure?
There can't be causation. It's about as consistent as the Madden cover.
Was there pressure in New England?
No.
You guys won.
Yeah,
there's pressure. Anything any of these guys say, there is pressure on Caleb Williams to be great. I promise, regardless of what any coach, talking head, or video game cover says, he's got pressure.
There was absolute pressure on that day to be the best you could. We never talked about 6 months from now. We never talked about, hey, we're going to be the greatest defense that's ever been. We're going to be the 85 Bears. That's not how it was, because it's unproductive. And it takes away from the focus on what's important, which is exactly what's in front of you.
So you expect, to use your Trevor now, you expect Caleb to be worse this year than he was last year?
I'm not saying I expect him to be worse this year. I just think that you should put him in a position where he's not under pressure to be the greatest ever. Just be the best version of him and improve from where he was last year and see where it goes.
40 touchdowns is more fun.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.